Yo, what's going on, Knicks Nation? It's your boy, come to you with a brand new video. Before we get into the video, hit that sub button, like the video, and comment down below your thoughts on this video. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, Kevin Knox, Mr. Fortnite suit, Mr. I'm going to take your bills and shoot you in the head with a pump, Mr. Bust, Mr. whatever you want to call him, is finally looking to be over. Kevin Knox. We're talking about Kevin Knox, Mr. 8th overall pick in 2-3 years ago in the draft, where we got Mitchell Robinson, most likely the steal of the draft in a sense. But Kevin Knox was supposed to be that player that had a lot of high ceiling and high potential that never lived up to it, and most likely is looking like a bust. Now, I'm not going to call him a bust just yet because he might not fit the New York Knicks timeline, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad player. He just doesn't have a high enough motor to play for a Tom Thibodeau or any coach, so he could go somewhere else and find some other place to go and build his career back up from the beginning with no expectations to get better, just to play and see what you get from a player, and then you can go and see what goes on from there. So we're talking about Kevin Knox. What's next with Kevin Knox and the New York Knicks? Well, Kevin Knox recently came out and said that he wanted to play in the Summer League, so a third-year player going into his fourth year wanted to play in the Summer League, and most likely the Summer League is for first and second year players to get better, not third, fourth year players looking to get some playing time. But that's what Kevin Knox wanted to do. And then he got COVID protocols, which kept him out, safety health protocols, which took him out of the Summer League, and he wasn't able to participate. Now, we know the monster that Summer League Kevin Knox was. He was crazy, and he had hopes, high hopes. All of us Knicks fans were looking at the next iteration of Kevin Durant. But that didn't live up to any hype, any truth. And Kevin Knox straight out got benched for a lot of players, and his development was not there. So, Kevin Knox, what's next with the New York Knicks and Kevin Knox? Well, I don't think he's going to get any minutes in this upcoming season, so we're looking to trade him, or we're going to waive him, or we're just going to let him sit on the bench, make $5.8 million, and then not give him the qualifying offer for next year. But I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to use him to get some sort of asset. At this point, a second-round pick from 4 years in the future, so a 15-year-old kid, is going to be what we're looking at for Kevin Knox. He has no trade value. I doubt any team wants to give up anything for him, so he's going to be included in a bigger package than just Kevin Knox straight up for a pick, because nobody will give you a pick for Kevin Knox, even if it's a second round 60th overall pick, because Kevin Knox has no value at this point except his shooting ability. He hasn't shown the motor to work out and get better. He hasn't done anything in the last 3 years that makes us Knicks fans even give him hope. Only thing that we can say that he might be useful is his three-point ability, but then his defense is not there either. So everything that you get from him from the offensive point gets neglected because of his defense is that poor. So I got 3 trade packages that have some sort of merit, some sort of truth, and we'll just break it down. So the first trade package I have for you guys is that we get Myles Turner from the Indiana Pacers. We send out Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and a second-round pick to the Indiana Pacers for Myles Turner. Now, this trade package is a little bit off because Myles Turner is making $18 million a year, and Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson put together aren't making $18 million. They're making close to $9 million. So we have to make up $10 million. And what I see happening is that we trade Mitchell Robinson, we sign Mitchell Robinson, and then we do a sign and trade to the Indiana Pacers for Myles Turner. Now you're wondering, why would the Indiana Pacers want to do this trade? Because over the last couple years, we have seen the fit with Turner and Sabonis, and it hasn't really worked out because Myles Turner is a guy that can bang down low, can hit three-point ability, and is a defensive monster. But then you have Sabonis, who's supposed to be the better player on the Indiana Pacers, and they have to share their backcourt. But Myles Turner is supposed to be playing down low, and so is Sabonis, whose game is more catered around playing down low. So that pushes Myles Turner out and is making him a three-point shooter which is okay. He's a 33% three-point shooter, but he would rather bang down low and get his points that way, and then occasionally step up for the three-point and the mid-range. Now, they can't work together because we've seen the last couple years it hasn't really worked, and I think the Indiana Pacers are finally looking at it and seeing what can they do, and I think that's step one. They have to trade Myles Turner or Sabonis, and Sabonis having the more potential being an all-star, I think that you trade Myles Turner, and we would be the perfect fit for Myles Turner because we need a center that can create his own shot and some capability. Because Mitchell Robinson is a lob threat. He's the elite lob threat, elite defensive player, but he can't create his own shot in any stretch of the imagination. Myles Turner can hit the three-point shot. Myles Turner can somewhat take you off the dribble, and he's still a very good defensive player, leading the league in blocks or being top 3 in blocks in the last 3 years. Now, Kevin Knox. Where does Kevin Knox fit in this whole situation? Well, Kevin Knox, you gotta trade him. Indiana Pacers, a young guy. He's only 22 years old. So he still has a long time to develop and get better as a player. So you have him coming off the bench behind TJ Warren and getting better, and they can work on his defense. Because Indiana Pacers is a team that is not looking to be good. They're looking to be average. They're competent, being the 7th, 8th seed every year. So a guy like Kevin Knox can come in with no expectations and just play ball and get better. So that is trade number 1. Now let's talk about trade number 2. Trade number 2 is the Orlando Magic trading a 2nd round pick for Kevin Knox straight up. Now, how this affects Kevin Knox is that he gets to go closer to home in Tampa Bay. Orlando is very close to Tampa Bay, so he gets to go back closer to home, and maybe that rejuvenates Kevin Knox's mindset and his ability to get better, and he becomes something for the Orlando Magic, who are at a rebuilding phase, and any young talent that they can acquire to trade in the future and just to get players that may become something is what the Orlando Magic want to do. And I think they would do it for a 2nd round pick because Orlando Magic aren't looking to get more young talent in the draft. They're looking to build the talent that they already have and then get big names in the 1st round. They're not looking for any 2nd round players because those 2nd round players aren't most likely going to be anything that will get them any value. So getting Kevin Knox for a 2nd is good for them because they only give up a 2nd. They get a young player in Kevin Knox, who's 22, has the ability to hit three-point shots at a high level, and he can also work with the young core and be in the timeline if he develops into something. So now let's talk about trade number 3. Is any team willing to give up a 2nd for Kevin Knox? Kevin Knox has no value in this stage of his career. So any team that can give up a 2nd round pick in the near future, or even in the next 3 to 4 years, will take Kevin Knox because he can at least hit the three-point shot. A veteran team, a team looking to win, can take Kevin Knox's three-point ability and use it to the extent that the New York Knicks couldn't do. The New York Knicks couldn't really build around or build with Kevin Knox because he couldn't play defense and he didn't have the high motor. Now, if you trade him to a team that is looking to win a championship and his only role is to hit three-point shots while he's on the court, I think he can have a very good role as just being a three-point specialist with the occasional ability to do a dribble, pull up, and get better and slowly progress his game. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about these trade packages for Kevin Knox. How do you feel about them? How do you feel about Kevin Knox in general? Are you over him? Do you still have any hopes for him? And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, YouTube.